opinions, viewpoints, and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Scarefest Radio, the radio you can see.
And hello everyone, and good evening, and welcome to Scarefest Television. I am Wes Forsyth, the little purveyor of this little show of stuff. Paranormal horror. We got news tonight, everybody. Very quickly, I'm going to go through it here. Now, our guest tonight will be Dan Klaes. Coyote's going to take him in just a minute. Mr. Coyote, Chris Sutton, will be interviewing him. But I've got some stuff to go over. We do have celebrity announcements. We're going to drop those at the 30-minute mark, FYI. Not as big as we've done the last couple weeks. Got a few less this week because Brandon decided to go on date night tonight and didn't get to check all of his paperwork to see what all came through. I am the only dedicated person in the Scarefest organization. That is just, that's all there is to it. I'm going to turn it over now to Coyote Chris Sutton and let him have the show for a while.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Scarefest Television. It's good to see everybody. This is Coyote Chris, and tonight I get to interview. It's not really an interview. I'm going to spend a half an hour talking to my friend Dan Klaes about all sorts of crazy paranormal stuff. Dan, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Good. How are you, man?
I'm doing good for an old man. I'm still alive. I'm on the right side of the dirt, and so we're gonna keep cooking. And as always, Dan and I usually get to do events together during the year, and this year's no different. And so we're going to be hanging around hopefully quite a bit. And actually, the first time that Dan and I ever met was at Scarefest. Yeah. Back in 2015. Yeah. And, somebody said, hey, go see Dan, say hello, Dan. And so I did. And later on that Saturday night, we were walking some street in Lexington looking for a bar with Wes and Brian Kano.
We were looking for a coffee spot.
Yeah. 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 Coffee with coffee with whiskey in it. I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, for those of you that do not know, Dan is the owner of the haunted and very haunted Hinsdale House in Hinsdale, New York, and that sort of started Dan's rise to notoriety, so to speak. But that's that's kind of where things started for Dan. So Dan, here you have a house that you bought in a very rural part of New York by the Enchanted Mountains that's haunted as all hell, had a failed exorcism, and I mean, you can certainly elaborate more on that. Tell us about the Hinsdale House. Tell us how you got it and why you keep it.
I mean, it was a location that I was going to as a paranormal investigator. I'm no different than anybody else. I just happened to stumble across this location, and we were going there to investigate. And the thing that stood out about this, and I'm sure you can attest to it, you've been there a few times, is things happen there. When you go to investigate at other locations, you're lucky if something happens that's unexplainable. But when you go to the Hinsdale House, things were just happening, and equipment was going off. Things were happening upstairs, downstairs. You were hearing noises all over the place, and it just really got me, sucked in. It sucked me in. And then they were going to tear it down, and it was a situation where I didn't know. I was exploring the opportunity to try and buy it, but it really needed a lot of work. So it was like I was weighing it, like, man, is this something I really want to get sucked into? I mean, if this doesn't work, it's a waste of basically my life savings, and I had a vision and I took a chance, and paranormal community really rallied around me, and they still do to this day. And I'm appreciative to everybody and everyone that's come to the house and explored the house and investigated the house, because without them, without the paranormal community, the Hinsdale House wouldn't be where it is today. And it's more like a well-maintained farmhouse now, and it's basically a paranormal research center that people can go to and research the paranormal. We've had people from 5 different countries there last year, so I mean, it's become quite popular.
Yeah, and the thing about the Hinsdale House is it's not only is it haunted, very haunted inside. There's always stuff happening in there, and my thing is going outside and investigating, and man, it's wicked, crazy, cool out there too. What have you experienced outside of the building?
Well, we've experienced shadow figures. We've experienced white, misty-looking figures out by the pond and in front of the house. We've experienced these different colored lights in the forest, and I know you've seen them too. Yeah. We've caught pictures of creatures that we think it's a pukwudgie, right? I mean, that's
right.
You're the only one that's ever given me a logical explanation for it. When I was searching for showing this picture around of what we caught in the forest, and it was like you knew what it was. It was like, oh, that's a pukwudgie, and it's something like I've never seen before. And these are the type of things that happen out in the forest. You're hearing drummings, you're hearing instruments coming from the forest when there's nothing there. We've also had UFO sightings out in the back, and MUFON's been there for campouts, and it's just very paranormal hotbed for all different types of activity.
Yeah, there's something for everybody. I mean, you go into the house, and now what's particular to the house? What are some of the things that people experience when they're inside the Hinsdale House?
Sometimes they feel suppression. Sometimes they feel like there's been a few people that have been touched or scratched. That happens to some people. A lot of people have caught pictures of what look like a girl or look like a shadow figure in the kitchen. Objects moving on their own. The hearing of walking or footsteps upstairs or going up and down the stairs. EVP. I mean, you name it. EVPs. Right, yeah. I mean, it's crazy in there sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. I mean, having experienced it 2 or 3 times now, and everything Dan said is true. I mean, and I haven't been there near as much as he has, but I've experienced one of everything. I mean, inside the house, I've seen and heard things outside. We had a drumming circle outside the first time I was there. And when we got finished, about a minute later, we heard drums echoing back from the hills. Well, they weren't echoes, because it would have been long gone by then. It was the returning the drumming of the spirits, or like showing their appreciation by drumming.
I think that's...
Yeah.
No, I was going to say, I think that with what you're doing and what like Amy Perry Lane and other investigators help at the house, it's like giving healing to the outside, and it's got a different feel to it than when I first bought it,
That's
and
cool.
I think that we've all helped with helping kind of our worlds collide and maybe a better understanding that it's not a fun house. We're trying to understand what's going on up there.
Right. And that is the focus up there. When you go into the Hinsdale House, it's not a fun house. You're there to be serious. Sure, you can have fun. Sure, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's not for this stuff where people coming and clowning and threatening spirits and that kind of crap. It is it's the place is well maintained. It's got rules, and people abide by those rules, and it works really well. But yeah, I've experienced, I saw strange lights in the sky there. I saw, heard things scratching in trees. We heard a pukwudgie sing, we think.
Yeah.
I had never heard anything like that over the box.
I have that video on my YouTube page from when you were there, if anybody wants to check that out.
That's right. It is there? I almost forgot about that. Yeah, it's such a cool and interesting place. Now, when you bought, you said the place is pretty much in disrepair. How many bees were inside the Hinsdale House when you bought it?
Yeah, that was one of the deterrents. So inside one of the rooms in the floorboards, they estimated 500,000 honeybees in the floorboards. The honeycombs were 4 to 6 foot long, and there was a ton of it, just so many. And they talked about these bees in the 1970s, like they just couldn't get rid of them. And I don't know if they were trying to kill them or what they were trying to do, but it was a process to get rid of them. I couldn't in right mind have like tours and things like that there. I had to look at people's safety, and so I didn't get them killed. I actually had bee farmers come out. It was a little bit more expensive, and had the bees safely removed and then transported to a bee farm. And then we had to get the house sealed up. We had to put new siding on, and they tried coming back a couple of times. But we had each time, they came out and took them. So.
All right. But by doing it that way, you talk about healing the land and being right with the spirits. I mean, I'm sure that bought you some coin right there with the spirits there. Instead of exterminating the bees, which, we all know bees are having a rough time right now. They're pretty getting scarce. You did the right thing, and I'm sure the spirits of the house and of the land really appreciate that. As you walk into the kitchen in the Hinsdale House, there's always pictures and signatures on the wall of the people who visited. Who are some of the people who have visited? I mean, there's been TV shows there. There have been people visiting. Let the folks know who's been to the Hinsdale House.
As far as like people that have been on TV, you mean?
Yeah, or just
there's been tons of hundreds of teams, but like Dustin Perry, You Sign the Wall, Nick Groff, obviously, Katrina, Greg and Dana Newkirk. We had both Mike and Brian from the Demon Files, Sean Austin from Ghost Loop, Eric Vitale from Ghost Loop, who also were on the Demon Files, Chris Moon, D. Garcia. I mean, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. There's so many. I got Sherry D. Benedetti coming for the first time this year. I have Brandy Green's coming. Brandy Green's going to come, so that's cool. I like to bring different people there. You get different perspectives of what's going on, and it's also fun for the locals to actually come and meet, some of the people that have been on TV in a small setting. It's pretty cool.
Right. What's the address of your YouTube page? One of our people in chat want to know that.
It's just Daniel Klaes.
Okay. So if people want to read up on the Hinsdale House, I believe you have a book, correct?
Yeah, you can get that on Amazon, or if you go to my website, danielklaes.com, you can just go to the store and I can sign a copy and send it out to you. Cool. Or meet me at an event or something like that.
Yeah, and if you go to an event in Dan's area, you make sure you catch up with him. He's always a lot of fun. And if I'm close by, we're always playing tricks on each other, so we're kind of fun to watch a little bit. So anyway, you're watching Scarefest Television. I'm Coyote Chris Sutton. We're talking to Dan Klaes, and we'll be right back.
Everyone is talking about CBD oil, and it seems like almost everyone is using it. The research is ongoing, but the apparent health benefits are overwhelming. If you're going to use CBD products, though, what brand should you buy? First, find out where the hemp was grown. Imports are flooding the market. How potent is it? Look for a brand that plainly states its concentration on the label. And look for full spectrum CBD. This means the oil contains CBD and all the other cannabinoids, terpenes, and nutrients that are found in the entire cannabis plant. Look for Blue Leaf CBD oil. Blue Leaf Naturals is a Kentucky proud company. They use only Kentucky-grown hemp, supporting Kentucky farmers and businesses. Visit their website at blueleafcbd.com now and use the code SMILE at checkout for free shipping.
Hey there, Scarefest. G'day, Glenn here from fakeshemp.net. Before I get started, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone that's commented and followed my work on fakeshemp.net since I've started doing this Scarefest thing. It really does mean a lot, so thank you very much. Now, last week I introduced you to the Yowie, which is a legend down here that is essentially our version of Bigfoot. So I've got another one this week for you, and it's a movie called Throwback. So yes, that's right, this week I do have another Yowie movie for you, and it is called Throwback. Now this was released back in 2014. It is a really, really low budget, almost DIY creature feature that I chose to share with you because I think this one is a brilliant example of how money should not be a barrier to making movies. Then there is nothing stopping you. And director Travis Bain shot this kooky little film in the top end of Australia near the famous Daintree rainforest, and the reason that it works so well is because he understands things like framing and pacing, and that humour is a good way to supplement suspense, the kind of things that a lot of aspiring independent filmmakers don't put a lot of thought into. So the story is about friends who venture into the rainforest in search of lost gold from the gold rush days, and they inadvertently walk into Yowie's backyard. They also happen to stumble across an eccentric undercover cop played by Vernon Wells. And you know Vernon, he's a regular guest at Scarefest. He's been in movies like Road Warrior and Commando, Weird Science, Inner Space, and so many great 80s movies. I saw this one back when it screened at Monster Fest, and I fell in love with it from the get-go. And the funny thing is, I had no idea I was actually sitting next to the director himself, Travis Bain. I think this guy is something of an indie crusader. He continues to make these sort of low-budget shoestring genre movies, and after he made this one, he also made another one called Landfall, and I believe he's currently got a big concept sci-fi thriller in the pipeline too. So yeah, while Throwback might not be glossy or glamorous, it is nevertheless a valuable lesson to aspiring filmmakers that with the right vision, movies get made regardless of funding. And well, hell, you know, it's also damn good and it's cheeky. It's a creature feature. There's even some jump scares that definitely caught me off guard, and I remember spilling my drink in the cinema because of one of them. Travis would have loved seeing that. And don't you think that Throwback is such a cool title for a film? I do. And have a look at this poster. I love it. This is the original poster that they had up when it was going through all the festivals. Of course, the treatment for the artwork got dumbed down quite a bit for Blu-ray and DVD release. They streamlined it for a much more sort of generic kind of feel. But either way, it's a great film. Over there in the States, you can find it on Amazon Prime. So make sure you have a look for it. Give Travis Bain some love. Maybe drop him some comments on Facebook if you can. Anyway, that's about it from me. Just before I go, don't forget to follow me on Good Movie Monday, the brand new show I've got every Monday, which is actually Friday night your time, or Friday afternoon at 2 p.m. to be exact. Ah, shit. Sorry guys, it's just me interrupting myself. I should have said Sunday at 2 p.m., not Friday. Wasn't thinking. This week, I've got the second part of my Rob Zombie interview, so you don't want to miss that. Good Movie Monday, and I'll catch you next week with something completely different to this.
That was
Good day,
funny.
Tim. That was Glenn. Good day, Glenn.
Good eye interrupting yourself there, huh? That was funny.
Oh, goodness. That was great. As usual. Okay, so Dan, now I see you have a new endeavor out there. It's actually a show that you've been cast on called Ghost Finders.
Yes,
and
Ghost Finders.
It looks pretty cool. I've watched a little bit of a couple of them, and I'm liking what I'm seeing. Tell us about what's Ghost Finders, where we find Ghost Finders, and who's on Ghost Finders?
So the Ghost Finders is basically the longest running independent paranormal show in the country. It's been going on. This is going to be their 10th season. They reached out to me to investigate the Hinsdale House. I was at an event in Erie, Pennsylvania, and they'd asked me to come and do an interview with them. And when they got there, I just liked their professionalism. I liked how seriously they took the investigation, and everybody in their crew was very professional. It felt like I was on kind of a movie set, kind of. You know, they had call sheets, they had stuff that was, important to make things run smoothly. So I enjoyed what they did. I enjoyed their show, and I assisted them in securing probably 4 or 5 other locations. I appeared on 2 of those episodes, and then at some point I was speaking to Rob. We were just becoming good buddies, and he asked me if I would join them for season 10 because Brad was going on another endeavor who was on the show and in real estate, and I was excited. When I'm with those guys, it feels like I'm just having fun, and we all click together. And I really like the dynamic of it because he's a psychic medium. Megan's a witch, and she looks at things a lot differently than everybody else, but it's cool to see that difference in what she does during a live investigation. And I'm kind of that techie, how I am with different gadgets, paranormal, you see on every show. I'm just the average guy, but put me around those two, and it makes it a little bit more exciting. So,
but you have to have people like you. I mean, in those types of shows, it kind of holds it together. Yeah.
So we're going to be doing. We're filming a 6-episode series with the Ghost Finders cast in New Orleans. We're going to be really diving into the city and different locations. It's going to be exciting. We're going to I can't really talk too much more about that, but
Right.
we also are filming a season 10 for VidiSpace and Amazon Prime and Roku and all those other things that we have it on. So we start filming that in May.
Excellent. Hey, one thing you got to do, when you go down to New Orleans, you got to wear a silver on your wrist and hit up Christopher St. Booth for a anti-spell bag.
Okay.
It's for black magic and stuff like that. I've got one myself, and so you want to, Christopher's always he's always at Scarefest, and he and his lovely wife Rachel. But yeah, they've got the goods for that kind of stuff. So I would definitely, before you go down there,
I'll check it out.
Check
I'm probably going to be in a food coma anyway when I go down there because of all the food, man. I just thinking about it makes me excited. I like that Cajun cooking. I really do.
Some of it's pretty good. Yeah, that's where I did. I had my
jambalaya and all that seafood.
Yeah, that's where I did. That's where Julie and I went on our honeymoon. Was down in New Orleans. So it was
nice.
A great time. You got to go to Cafe Alais and get big.
Yeah.
Make sure you do that. So excellent, man. So when you are with the Ghost Finders, I mean, you and I investigated together several times, and I know how you work. And you do. I mean, you kind of kick back and let other people do their thing, and and add your own expertise to it, which just makes it really comfortable to investigate with you. So you've got a witch, you got a psychic medium and stuff. So what's different about a witch? Because I understand witches. I've got no witches. And when they do an investigation, Megan, is that her name?
Megan, yeah, Megan Deputy,
yep. Yeah. What does Megan do different?
So she does her rituals at the beginning. It's kind of like similar to what you do with a drum circle.
Mm-hmm.
So she's doing a ritual to kind of blend the two worlds together, and you can actually see a pagan ritual on the show, her doing that. She also is empathetic, so she also can feel what's going on when we're in the room. And it's just had really good results. Like it's interesting because you like to learn about different cultures, and you like to learn about different ways people do things to try to try to get that spirit communication. And she's been successful, on both ends, and so is Rob. It's made it I don't want to say easier, but it's made it kind of smoother when we're at these locations to communicate. I feel.
That's cool. I mean, because after watching, like, I have a pretty, how I am. I got a pretty short list of people I just want to work with really bad. Those guys are kind of on it just to do, an investigation with them someday, just because they're different and seem like really cool folks, and so that's really cool. So, and it's good. You're on the good platforms there and things like that. Now, as far as regular television, how many different times have you appeared on, as you would say, national television, and what shows?
Probably like 6 or 7 times. Paranormal Lockdown a couple of times. America's Most Terrifying Locations. I have a couple that I filmed that are waiting to be released. One's called My Paranormal Nightmare, which is it's been released in Canada, and I think it's supposed to be released maybe in the spring for Travel Channel. And then I filmed another one called Paranormal Night Shift, which talks about ghostly happenings while you work late at night alone or something like that. And I got to talk about an experience that I had back in the day when I ran a bowling alley. And it's pretty cool. So I don't know. That's still in production, so I'm not sure when that one will be on. But, I just take things as they come. You just never know when you're going to have an opportunity, and you take what you can take and just have fun with it.
Exactly. Just do what you do, and I've seen that in my own life. I just happen to run into the right place at the right time, and
I know. You've been blessed. You were
definitely.
I mean,
that's exactly right. I mean, I have been blessed, and I don't take that for granted. I mean,
no.
It's it's just the way things are. But it's about, and you are one of the most honest and loyal people in the business. I mean, you're, as far as people that I trust, and you're definitely, you're up top of the list, you and Wes. I mean, as far as people I trust in this business.
Likewise.
And because you have integrity, and so many people lose their integrity along the way because they want to catch the gold ring. And that's not what this is about. This is about doing the right things for people. And you and I have talked about this. I mean, what is your philosophy as far as when you do investigations? Why do you do it? Why do you do these things?
A lot of the times, it's teaching too. Like when I'm in a group setting, I love to learn from other people and show them what I can do as well. but I do that to help spirits. You know, like at the end of the day, like people come to me sometimes like, "Well, you bought this haunted house. You're just trying to make money and blah blah blah." It's like, you know what? You want to take a house that had black mold throughout the walls, needed a new roof, new siding, 500,000 honeybees. You had to put a new floor in, new bath. I mean, new septic system. You name it. Yeah. I mean, I put probably triple the amount of money that than the house cost into getting this place fixed. And it wasn't it wasn't to benefit from the spirits that are there. It's to help the spirits that are there. And I want to be able to help Clara Dandy, who still doesn't have any answers from what happened in the 1970s. Yeah. And I'm hoping that we can give her those answers. And with stuff that I've done with Nick Groff, we have some stuff to show her that's going to blow everybody's mind when it comes out. Yeah.
Kind of in a nutshell, what happened? If you share with the people what happened to Claire.
Clara and her family lived there in 1970. They moved in. At that 1969, the property was purchased, and the company that purchased it subparceled the 100 acres into 10-acre spots, built ponds on the properties, and I believe that's probably what unleashed whatever was happening to them. Right. But they were getting tormented, scratched. Things were flying off the walls. The stove was being turned on and left on. And the kids were using Ouija board in the house, and things were flying off the walls. And they brought a priest in and a psychic in, and he was counseling them and trying to help them through this whole thing. And they performed a structural exorcism on the location that didn't work. And basically, he told this family to leave. They had to leave. That's the only way that he could come up with to help them. And they hightailed it out to California. And now she's in Oregon. She's an old lady, but she's such a lovely thing. She's had 2 of her kids die for her. And she believes that the house. She believes the house came back to get them. And she won't tell me why. She doesn't. It's not, out of respect. I don't push things, but I do hope to be able to give her some answers. And I know Nick does as well. He's become very close with her, and I think she'll be pleased with what we've accomplished so far.
Yeah, and I have no doubt that. And and I know I've seen you get shit every once in a while about it's about money, and that's not what it's about. I mean. And you've gone this whole time without mentioning you need new windows on the place. And so I'll tell everybody else out there that you are running a fundraiser to try to put new windows into the Hinsdale House because the old ones are rotting out. And we'll keep it together so we can keep learning. It's about education. It's about helping the spirits. Dan, where can people find you about what you're going to be doing, and if they're interested in your books, or where would they look for you at?
DanielKlaes.com is the easiest place to go to. I have links for Hinsdale House, Wildwood Sanitarium, all the things that I'm involved with. I have links right on my website that you can go to, check out events, local events that I'll be at, public events I'll be at, and that's basically the place to go, DanielKlaes.com.
Super, buddy. Thank you so much for taking the time out to visit with us, and I really appreciate it. I know Wes and all the listeners appreciate it. So take care of yourself, and
all right.
I'll be talking to you soon. Okay, folks, there's still plenty of show left to go. So, and I know Wes has got some real big announcements to make for you and other information and news. So we'll take a break, and we'll be back with Wes Forsythe.
Do you feel lost in life? Do you seem to be stuck in emotions that are not yours? Is your home not the sanctuary it should be? Contact Spirit Mechanics, where they take a team approach to your metaphysical and spiritual problems. Spirit Mechanics specializes in aura cleansing, stone attunement, attachment removal, and house cleansings. Spirit Mechanics tailors their approach to your individual spiritual path and needs. Now find them monthly at the Central Kentucky Mystical Market in Lexington, or on Facebook by searching Spirit Mechanics, that's MECHANIX. Spirit Mechanics, for your spiritual health and well-being.
Join us at the Universal Energy Expo May 2nd and 3rd at the Northern Kentucky Convention Center. Meet celebrity guest Coyote Chris Sutton. Door prizes and workshops available with admission. While here, check out our readers, healers, and one-of-a-kind vendors. Admission the day of the event is $15 daily, $20 for a weekend pass. Discount tickets now available at the Silver Wolf at 4205 Richardson Road in Independence, Kentucky. The Universal Energy Expo. Come curious, leave enlightened.
This week in horror history, we go back to the year 1692 in Salem, Massachusetts, where a farmer named Thomas Putnam had been hearing much strange behavior from the women and girls in town. When his own daughter began exhibiting these strange behaviors as well, he became convinced it was the work of witchcraft. He, along with his brother and 2 other men from town, swiftly accused 3 women of carrying out the deeds and demanded the magistrate take action. Sarah Good, Sarah Osborne, and a slave by the name of Titsuba were arrested and charged with practicing witchcraft. The news quickly spread throughout town, creating a mass hysteria, leading to more accusations of witchcraft, which ultimately led to the infamous Salem witch trials. In total, more than 200 people were accused, 30 were found guilty, and 19 were executed by hanging. That might have been my best ever week in horror history. I just want to brag on myself there. Everybody, welcome back to Scarefest Television. Now we're down to the business part of the program. The entertainment's all over. No, it's not all over. We still got an hour and a half of entertainment. But we do have a few minutes now of business to take care of. Before we get to the celebrity announcements, I want to point out some things. Coming up on the last chance to volunteer. If you want to be a part of the Scarefest staff, be a part of the team, get in, get your t-shirt, get all the attention, get the behind-the-scenes look at the Scarefest. We are still taking vendor applications, but they're closing. They may already, I don't think they're closed yet, but they're due to be closed here very, very shortly. Some of the teams are full. Most of the teams are not full. Vendor booths are on sale. We do not have the new platform switched on yet, but you can still buy your booth. And yes, if you request a certain booth number based on the map, we will get you in that specific area. Media passes are starting to go out. So we've had some people request media passes. If you have a blog, podcast, YouTube channel, if you produce regular content and you have enough people looking at your stuff, we'll get you in. We'll get you into the Scarefest with a media pass. That is on thescarefest.com. Just go there, click on media pass. It'll tell you all about what we're looking for in our media for 2020. Speaker applications. Now this is actually something we talked a little bit about last week. We are meeting with the new entertainment complex across from the convention center. We're meeting with them Tuesday or Thursday of next week. They're very excited about working with us. Basically what we're looking at, we're going to be probably using them for a lot of our seminars and panels, etc., whatever we can push over there. That's going to be what we're going to do. Here, picture this. Yeah, people can come in and watch your seminar, but we're actually going to stream it live, both on the internet, and probably our real goal is to stream it live back to the convention. Have monitors set up in the hallways and around the building where our speakers can get exposure that way. So if you want to speak at the Scarefest, we're still very, very light on cryptozoology. I don't think we have a single application. I don't think we do on ufology. Now we got some serial killers, we got some axe murderers, that kind of crap. Sorry about that. But we do. And we're as always we've got a lot of paranormal topics. But if you've got something that's just a little bit off kilter, just a little bit off what we normally do, you've got a good chance of speaking this year. We will be running, once we start the seminars, our plans are to run them around the clock all through the convention. The axe throwing tickets should go on sale. I'll talk about a little bit more about that here in just a moment. And also with the entertainment complex, our film festival entries should open up here just within the next week or two. Now, on to the celebrity announcements. I know that's what you've been waiting on. Now, our first celebrity announcement, correct me in the chat room. I am watching the chat room on the Scarefest page on Facebook. I don't think he's ever been to Scarefest because he's fairly new to the scene. Mr. Rob Mello, we are announcing tonight, Mr. Rob Mello. Happy Death Day 1 and 2, and some other movies, but that's what we care about. Happy Death, Crazy Lake. I had his IMDb page pulled up, but Happy Death Day is. I love my old computer here. The trailer. Now this one I'm gonna look for on Prime. Trailer Park Shark. That had to be on Sci-Fi, but Trailer Park Shark. Into the Ashes, but Happy Death Day 1 and 2. Mr. Rob Mello is coming to the Scarefest. Now, this one we kind of let out of the bag last week, but it is official. Mr. R.A. Mihailoff is coming to the Scarefest. Yes, of course, it's hard to have the Scarefest without Mr. Mihailoff. He was in Leatherface. He's done a bunch, and I want to go back. He teased it when we interviewed him. Pull up the right page here. This Ride Hard, Live Free is showing that it's been released on IMDb. So I need to search that out on the streaming channels and see if I can find. That's his most recent release. Ride Hard, Live Free. He played Grinder. Of course, before that he was in Death House. Slasher.com, which I did get to see part of. He plays Santa Claus a lot. If you go through his IMDb page, he put a hat on him and he's Santa Claus. Hell of a nice guy. Hell of a big fellow. Mr. R.A. Mihailoff. Now, while I've got him pulled up, I want to talk about the axe throwing. The axe throwing, he and Kane are already headliners on it. You can go to the website. You can get teased a little bit more about it. We're still hammering out details. We have the venue. I don't think that they haven't changed the date on us, but we have to do the math and figure out how we can pay these celebrities to throw sharp objects around the general public. So that's the only thing holding us up. We just got to set the price, get the tickets on sale. They should be on sale this week for the celebrity axe throwing. Now, before we release that, I want to tell you all something. This is why this is such a big deal. Can you imagine having a better quality experience at a horror con than spending 2 hours with your favorite actors? Now, our final announcement of the evening, Rachel Booth. Rachel Booth is coming to the Scarefest. And, of course, she has to bring her entourage, her helper. Mr. Christopher Booth will also be there. Now, Rachel Booth, a fan favorite and a personal favorite of mine because she is such a sweet girl, beautiful, and she has a good sense of humor. And I don't think I've ever made her blush. I don't think anything I've ever said has ever went over the edge with her. So that's my kind of gal, as we say. But, of course, Christopher is coming. Christopher Booth is coming. You know him for his work on Dead Still, Death Tunnel, Spooked, and a god-awful bunch. This man has credits in the composer department of the movies, creating the music and the audio for movies. 81 credits. 81 credits. Art director, 44 credits. Producer, 19. Costume designer, 30. Writer, 19 credits. Director, 10 credits. Sound, on down the list. He is in the visual arts department. We'll just say the man is a legend. But great people, and they will be bringing their Haunted Bazaar. I had a graphic for that. Yeah, we'll do that in the Chris in the chat room. Yeah, I'm going to hold an apple in my mouth and let change. Actually, I would not do it. I might have done it with some of the others. Kane turns out not that accurate from what I've heard. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm just going to say it. He's good close up, but you put a little distance between you and Jason, and you're going to be okay, people. You're going to be okay. So anyway, Rachel and Christopher Booth are coming, fan favorites, and of course they will have their Haunted Bazaar. The graphic I did not load, but that's all their haunted items and really nifty stuff that they got going on there. Before we go to the next commercial break, now I do have a couple of things I want to remind everybody about. First of all, our next commercial break is for my good friends at Akashic Awareness. Akashic Awareness Beacon of Light Festival is coming up March 21st. I looked at it. I didn't realize how big this damn thing was. Coming up March 21st, Beacon of Light, Elizabethtown, Kentucky. Go to AkashicAwareness.com and look at all the people that are going to fit in that building. They must be stacking the readers like too deep. But anyway, if I miss my massage next week, I can go to that and get one because my masseuse will be at Elizabethtown that weekend. But they got some great people. A lot of them I know, some of them I don't know. But Elizabethtown, Kentucky, check that out if you're wanting to go to a healing arts festival. March 21st is a good time to go to Elizabethtown if you're in that area. And also coming up, something we haven't talked about. I've got a new sponsor for the show. For a short period, because coming up May 2nd and 3rd, the Spirit of Light Festival in Lexington, Kentucky, a Mama Ruby's production. Of course, Mama Ruby's been a long-time friend of the show, but they have the Spirit of Light Festival coming up the first weekend of May, and I want to throw that out to you. Best way to find them right now, I'm going to suggest you just search it on Facebook. That's where a lot of the information drops. I'll have the websites and everything when I get the commercial. But MamaRubies.com is another good place to go. That's their main website. But Spirit of Light Festival, once again, coming up Lexington, Kentucky, at the Clarion Hotel Conference Center on Newtown Pike, Lexington, Kentucky. And now for the fun part of the show. Akashic Awareness is a metaphysical healing and learning center unlike any other. A large selection of crystals, gems, and minerals greet you as you walk in the door, but from that point onward, the journey is yours. They offer a great selection of metaphysical tools, state-of-the-art holistic healing, with classes and lectures scheduled throughout the month. Akashic Awareness is open Tuesday through Saturday, noon until 6:30, 7 on Friday and Saturday. Visit their website for a current calendar of their almost daily special events and guests at AkashicAwareness.com. And while you are there, be sure to join their email list to stay current. Akashic Awareness, 328 Sycamore Street, Elizabethtown, Kentucky.
Coyote Chris Sutton.
Shamanism.
Spiritual advisement.
Paranormal investigations.
Inspirational presentations.
Bringing light to the darkest places for over 20 years. Go to coyotechris.com to learn more.
Hey, Scarefest fans, this is Joe Lewis with Bonehead Weekly with another review. I first of all have to apologize to the management of Scarefest. I'm sorry. What I heard was because of my review of Ma, Juliette Lewis and Octavia Spencer have now canceled. They were in negotiations, ready to sign on the dotted line for Scarefest next year, and they decided not to come because I'm an asshole. I'm so sorry. This week, I have a review of a movie I didn't hate, The Invisible Man. Now, a little bit about The Invisible Man. It's kind of a reboot, remake. Watch Jay and Silent Bob reboot to get a definition of what those two damn things mean. Sometimes I get confused. It's written and directed by Lee Whannell. You would know him because he wrote Saw. He's also in Saw. He also wrote The Insidious, or a couple of Insidious movies. He directed the third one, and he plays Specs in the Insidious films. He directed a movie I loved called Upgrade. Now, The Invisible Man. Is it good? Yes. Yes, it is. It's better than a huge reboot, $100 to $200 million action film that it was going to be with Johnny Depp as the Invisible Man. Google it. That's what was going to happen. Is it the greatest thing since sliced bread? Because I keep hearing that, and people keep talking about how amazing it is. It's really good. it's not the greatest thing since sliced bread. In fact, it could probably use about 10 minutes cut out of it. Elizabeth Moss gives maybe one of her best performances, which is saying something. I loved her on Mad Men. She's also in The Handmaid's Tale. Fantastic actress. She plays Cecilia, a woman who is trapped with a egomaniac, sociopath, narcissistic man who's a billionaire. He's made all of his money in optics. And she escapes. That's the opening scene of her escaping. So you're not giving too much away. He's abused her over the years. She can't get away. She comes to find out that he's committed suicide and left her some money, and she'll lose that money if she's found guilty of a crime or is mentally unstable. And that's the plot. And I don't want to give too much away because a couple of things were ruined for me by social media. And one thing I saw coming from a mile away. But however, the third act is really good. There's two really just kind of scenes in it. One in particular of her in a house with some paint that I won't give away. I actually jumped a little bit. It's good. It's told from the victim's point of view and how she becomes maybe not the victim anymore. Go out and see it. Lee Whannell made a really good movie. Now, is it his best film? No. If any of you know me, you should see Upgrade. It's batshit crazy, bloody as hell, action, but we're not here to talk about that. It's not really a horror film. So go out and see The Invisible Man. Check it out. Worth your money. Had a good time. And maybe I won't piss her off, Elizabeth Moss, and she'll come to Scarefest next year. Here's hoping. Anyway, check out Lee Whannell's The Invisible Man. I hear tell he may direct the Escape from New York remake. We'll find out. So, this has been Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly. Check out The Invisible Man.
Labratio! I'm sorry. Please make yourself comfortable while I just get this machine working. Let's see. Now, if I just tap here and just wiggle this cord, and we should be in business. Yes, we should be in business, Labratio.
What is it, Professor?
Oh yes, this week's experiment.
Well, what you got going on this week?
Well, Labratio, why don't you make yourself comfortable? I'm not sure if I should tell you the name of the film. Maybe it's best if I didn't tell you because I'm afraid it might have an adverse, well, the film might have an adverse effect on your brain.
Sounds fun, man.
Yes, fun, very nice. Yes, that reminds me, Mutagen, Mutagen, I want you to, Mutagen, focus. Focus on me, you moron! Now, I want you see? You understand. Yes, I want you to go to the storeroom and get a few things you know the wants. Make yourself comfortable, Labratio. Now, I want to see. Prepare your mind for the horrors of that.
And now.
Ooh, he has a very commanding voice.
One of the most incredible stories of
looks like a blowfish. But oh.
Zat. Invasion of the walking catfish.
Now wait a minute, can a catfish really walk?
No, that's the point, is that they can't walk.
If a catfish walked, is that what it would look like?
So people say, what's that? I mean this movie.
Into a horrible, revengeful killer fish.
killer fish.
A killer fish? That's wild. Looks like the swamp thing.
Yes, if you combine the swamp thing with a sea cucumber and a tadpole, you get that. Is that Morgan Freeman?
In your language,
Did you hear? What does that mean?
That's how they tie it into the movie, I see.
His goal.
Was you spraying some of that stuff on me earlier?
I spray a lot of things, maybe a little bit.
An entire town goes berserk.
Thought you could use some air freshener.
And violence.
Uh-oh.
Hey. Oh my gosh. He just wants a hug. Oh, never mind.
How's this making you feel, Labratio? You look like you're retaining water.
I know I could use some water right now.
Is a fright.
We'll write that down. I can't get you any water because that would go against the experiment.
And that thing has lipstick on it. Does a walking catfish actually wear lipstick?
Yes, I think that it's more of a crimson color, but it could be red. Well, this is an excellent shot of the film.
But it did. That tells it all. You won't want to miss.
Is he about to talk?
I'm kind of feeling like a fish out of water here, Doc.
You look like you're not feeling well. You know, this whole thing is just, it's a little bit more than even I can take. It's just so depraved.
Oh, the horrors! The ghastly exercise in depravity! I can only imagine how it must have melted your mind, Labratio! Labratio? Labratio! Oh dear. Mutagen! Mutagen! Oh, very good, quick thinking!
But I think we're going to need a very large tank and a lot of water.
And a quick reminder, everybody, the Scarefest will be at Lexington Comic-Con. LexingtonComicCon.com, coming up March 26th through 29th. I will be there the 28th and 29th by my current understanding. Everybody, I want to thank you for coming out tonight. Coming up next, we're not done with the show yet. We still got like 30 more minutes. We've got the Fifth Holler. Now, I hope it is okay that my Southern all these words in this description bring out the Southern accent in me, something awful. So I can't say hollow. It's the Fifth Holler, and what it is. We've got a series coming up. I was graciously offered to us. That I've got 6 episodes so far. I think there's going to be a couple more released to us. But the small town of Rayland, Kentucky has always had a bit of mystery behind it. But recently, teenagers have started coming up missing, bringing it to the attention of the FBI. When an untested rookie is teamed with a grizzled veteran to tackle the case, they soon discover that nothing could have prepared them for the myth of the Fifth Holler. With the help of the sheriff's office and local residents, the 2 special agents attempt to discover the truth behind this old coal mine town while chasing down the legend of the Soul Taker. Everybody, enjoy the movie.
Just when Ichabod Crane almost got to the other side of the bridge and thought he was safe, the headless horseman then raised his fiery hand and threw the pumpkin he was using as his head at Ichabod. The next morning, there was no sign of Ichabod, just a busted pumpkin at the edge of the bridge.
Oh, really? That's a lame ghost story. Is that the best you got for the night?
Okay, Jenny. You know, if Susie catches you with your hand on her boyfriend again, that you're going to be our next ghost story, right?
Oh, Carly, I don't mean anything by it. It was all just in fun. And besides, I don't think Charlie seemed to mind, did you?
When did this become my fault?
Hey, I thought we were telling ghost stories here, not painting places railing.
We are telling ghost stories, but I don't know what you're doing over there telling that Sleepy Hollow crap. Hey, have any of you heard of the Fifth Holler?
Duh! We all live here. We've all heard the story of the Fifth Holler.
I'm not talking about the ones our parents used to tell us to keep us from playing in the mines. I'm talking about the real story, the one only a few people know. I got this straight from Annie, and she should know. It involves her dad.
Like Annie's gonna tell you her life story.
Oh, okay, you're right. I didn't get it from Annie. I got it from Susie, who's the next best source.
Excuse me, but I'm not from here and have not heard the story about the Fifth Holler, so what is this about?
Okay, so we all know about the mine's long history of accidents, cave-ins, explosions.
Just skip all the stuff that we already know about the mines and just get to the good part.
Alright, I'll just tell the history that's important for Jenny to know. Back in 1946, after World War II, when the U.S. was desperately in need of coal and energy, there was a mine cave-in that trapped 48 miners underground, all except their foreman.
Ooh, scary. So I'm guessing 48 miners now haunt the mines down there. Should I call Dean and Sam Winchester to clear them out?
Monica, stop being a jerk and let Charlie tell his story. Go on, Charlie. I want to hear.
Anyway, before the mine caved in, the foreman was said to have seen a man that stood about 6 to 7 feet tall. At first, he thought the man was another miner that had escaped. But as the figure started toward him, it let out a screech that made the foreman cover his ears and crumble down to his knees. That is when the foreman noticed the figure was almost transparent, and its eyes were glowing white. Then, just as the figure got close to him, it disappeared.
So what happened to the 48 men?
They tried to rescue the 48 miners, but by the time the rescue team got down to them, they were horrified by what they saw.
Quiet. Somebody, can anyone hear something behind us?
Matt, by the time the rescue team reached the miners, they were horrified by what they saw. The miners' bodies were all twisted like pretzels, and their faces frozen in fear. Throughout the years, there have been many unexplained accidents at the mines, causing the miners to shut almost all of them down, except for Fifth Holler, where the 48 men met their death. It is said that the Soul Taker was seen before every accident.
What does that have to do with Annie?
Now this is where Annie's story starts. In 1966, the Soul Taker was said to have been seen inside the mines. The Hensley family had just sat down for dinner when the mine emergency whistle went off. Frank Hensley, Annie's father, was the foreman for the first shift. When he heard the whistle go off, he immediately grabbed his lantern, pickaxe, and shovel and headed off to the mines. Annie and Alan were following behind him. He had just entered the mine when the next explosion went off. His body was never found.
That's so sad for Annie. No wonder why she doesn't talk about her family.
Yeah, but that's not all that happened that day. Annie and her brother were at the mouth of the mine when the second explosion happened. Rocks fell on top of them, knocking them both unconscious. When Annie came to, she claimed to have seen the Soul Taker's glowing white eyes.
Oh my god, they're lucky they survived.
So, the legend has it that the Soul Taker comes to claim a new soul every 10 years since the mine cave-in of 1946. But Frank was the one soul he never got. So, if you're ever walking out by yourself at night near the Fifth Holler, you'll see Frank Hensley's ghost still running into that mine trying to save those trapped miners. And then suddenly, you'll hear the same emergency whistle Frank heard. just before the soul taker appears.
Well, I guess that was an alright ghost story.
Hey, what's that over there?
There's nothing over there. What are you trying to pull here, Charlie? What in the world was that? Oh my gosh, it's Frank Ghost! Oh my god!
Gotcha.
That was a great story without the lame move added to it.
That wasn't a lame mood. I am a visionary.
I think you need to get your eyes checked.
It was better than that headless horseman story.
Hey, it's getting late. I want to get going home. Jenny, you want to ride with me?
Sure. I trust you a lot more than someone using apps to help him with the ghost story.
Hey, it's just like Hollywood remaking all those old movies. Technology is amazing.
There's a cold, cold wind blowing here tonight. It's chill in the air. Honey, something ain't right. I see the writing on the wall, and I hear the bell toll. But Lord, it's so hard letting go. I can close my eyes, hear all I see. Your haunting voice tortures me. Touch these walls, yeah, memories flow. Lord, it's so hard letting go. Lord, it's so hard letting go.
I had an amazing time at the bonfire last night. I've been so blessed to meet you and Susie ever since my dad and I moved down here.
Yeah, me too. We have so much in common. We like Johnny Depp, and our birthdays are both in March. We're in the same grade, and of course, the Johnny Depp movies.
Basically. You know, it's been different without Susie around. I think last night was our first gathering without her here with us.
Speaking of last night, even though you were just kidding by putting your hand on Charlie's knee, if Susie would have been there, you would have been our next ghost story. The two of them have been together since the 6th grade.
Well, you know what they say, while the cat's away, the mice will play.
Yeah, right.
Oh, come on. I was only kidding. And besides, Charlie and Susie are meant for each other. And Charlie's not really my type anyway.
Yeah, I've seen you in church staring at youth pastor Lee Daniels. Don't you think he's a little bit too old for you?
Hey, I like older men. And besides, he's only about 5 years older than us.
I think you're just wanting something that you know you can't have.
Which makes him even more appealing.
Well, hello there, girls. So how are you all faring this beautiful day? You always couldn't have maybe a daughter or so that I could marry. So I haven't eaten in a couple of days. I had some money, but I've got to find a hole in my pocket. I don't have any money yet.
Here you go.
Thank you so much, honey. I surely appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Hi, Dad. Yeah, I'm just hanging out with Carly from school. Okay, I'll be there right away. Bye, Dad. I'm sorry, my dad needs me home right away. 7 o'clock meeting still on tonight?
Yeah, remember, I'm buying the tickets and you buy the drinks and popcorn.
Yeah.
Hey, St. Louis, how's your morning going?
Oh, the same as yesterday and the day before that. I come in, I sit, and I get the report and wait for an assignment. But I have been going through some of the old cases to kind of get a feel of Louisville. So maybe that'll help me out a little bit.
Well, your boredom may have just ended.
Director Barnes wants to see us right after the reports this morning.
That does sound like that might be a good possibility. You know, I've been dying to get out and see what all Louisville has to offer me. You know, crime-wise.
Yeah. Now tell me, what brings you from Langley down to Louisville anyway?
Well, you know, to make a long story short, I really wasn't been given any opportunity to get out and partner up with anybody for the field. I was just mainly on the desk.
Now that makes no sense at all to me. You see, I've looked at your training records, and you're the top of your class, you're the best shooter in the class, and you were the best as far as those practical training sessions.
Well, let's just put it this way. No one wants to be responsible for telling the director of the FBI that his little girl was killed in the field. So getting paired up with a partner was pretty much a burden. I just asked for a transfer when everyone came available, and now here I am.
I can see it'd be difficult working under those conditions.
Yes, it was. I seemed like any chance for advancement for me there always seemed to be squashed. It was almost like I didn't even deserve a chance. But I am hoping that Director Barnes will be more open to utilizing my skills than where I came from.
Deputy North, I need to talk to the sheriff right away.
Just
I
slow
think
down.
Jimmy's missing. It's an emergency.
Just slow down a little bit, young lady. There's no one else here. You're going to have to talk with me, okay?
Gigi's missing. I just know something bad has happened to her.
Carly, what makes you think she's missing? Her father hasn't been in here to report her missing.
Jenny wasn't at school today, and she wasn't at the movie last night that we plan on seeing all week. It's our routine. We haven't missed a Sunday movie since she moved here.
Now just hold on, Carly. That doesn't mean that she's missing. Have you been by her house? Have you called her cell phone?
Yes, I've done all of that. I've tried calling her dad. It's only the two of them. We're best friends. We tell each other everything.
How about her boyfriend? Any trouble at home or school?
Mark, why are you wasting your time asking me these questions? I know she is missing, and I know something bad has happened.
Carly, these are all questions that I have to ask to fill out a missing persons report. I have to look at any and all possibilities. Now, when was the last time you saw her?
Yesterday around noon. We were walking out by Main Street, and her dad called and said that she had to rush home. She would have called me if she had rushed.
Carly, honey, I know you're upset, but I need you to stay focused. Can you give me a description of what she was wearing when you last saw her? And would you happen to have a photo of her?
Here, I brought this picture of her just in case you asked for one. She's about 5'8" and weighs about the same as me. She has dirty blonde hair and blue eyes. The sweetest smile and the kindest heart.
Carly, honey, just give me a minute. Let me finish this report. Then we'll take a drive over to the Wells' house, check the house out, see if maybe something might have happened to prevent them from answering the door or answering the phone whenever you went by there earlier. Carly, is that Mr. Wells' car there?
Yeah, it is, but it was here earlier and nobody answered.
Mr. Wells, it's Deputy Mark. Are you at home? Jenny?
Can't you get in somehow?
Carly, I can't very well kick the door in.
Oh, I know where they keep the hidden key. Jenny showed me one day whenever she locked herself out.
Carly, I want you to wait out here. If anything happens, I don't want you getting hurt. Carly, there was no one home. There's no signs of forced entry, but there does appear to have been a struggle inside the house. I'm going to take you back home, and I'm going to go to the office. I'm going to enter her, contact dispatch, and have her entered into NCIC as a missing person. I'm also going to contact the FBI and report the two people missing.
Agent Richards and Lewis, come on in and have a seat.
Hey, Joe. How's it going?
Well, let's just say it's a good day when one wakes up in the morning.
Now that's a positive outlook, Director.
Yes, I learned that years ago. Helps keep my blood pressure down. We have a new case, and I've assigned it to you two.
So what part of Louisville is this case in?
Agent Lewis, just because we're a Louisville office doesn't mean it's going to be somewhere in town.
Yes, Director Barnes.
In Agent Lewis's defense, sir, she's been studying all the crime waves around here in Louisville to find out where the heaviest parts are.
That shows initiative and ambition. I like that. That's why I put you two together. Agent Matt here is the most seasoned agent. That way you can put your feet to the ground and get running.
Thank you, Director. Looks like this is a missing persons case in the town of Rayland, Kentucky. An 18-year-old female and her father went missing just a little under 24 hours ago. FBI's already involved.
No need to quote me the policy, Lewis. Rayland is a small town and has its own customs. Listen to everyone and trust no one. There's been a mystery that surrounds this area for years.
Well, sounds like you know this town, sir.
Luckily, we got this one early. Every minute counts. Everything you need to know is in the file. You can read it on your way to Rayland.
Missing person director? I'm not sure I'm the right person to be able to handle this case, especially after the last one that I went through.
Agent Richards, that's exactly why this is your case. You know every little backwoods and nook and cranny in Kentucky.
Director, I think it would be better for Agent Lewis to...
Matt, you have the highest success rate in this office. You take the lead and show Agent Lewis the ropes.
Joe, I retire in 294 days. I was hoping that I could do something, you know...
In the field where you belong. This girl needs the best. And you're it. Agent Lewis, you're dismissed. Agent Richards needs to stay a little while longer.
Yes, Director.
Yes, Director Barnes.
Lewis, you work hard and you'll be appropriately rewarded. There's no favoritism here. No one gets pampered, no matter who their father is.
Thank you, Director. I'll do my best to meet your expectations.
Matt, Rayland has a strange history, so don't be surprised when something strange happens. Most importantly, watch each other's backs.
Joe, I've got this. I'll be sure to keep our guard up no matter what happens. Don't worry about living up to expectations. You just got to keep me around for 294 more days.
I'll do my best to do that. I'm going to run to my locker and get a few things, and I'll meet you in the lunchroom. Is that okay?
I'll tell you what, I'll do one better than that. I'll go ahead and sign us out a car, and then I'll meet you up front.
Sounds great.
Come on, Carly. You know Susie's the only one for me. I would never do anything to hurt her.
Oh, I know that.
So what's the long face about? Susie's on her way home. Jenny and Monica are about to show up here. I mean, I rarely see the four horsewomen apart from each other.
Jenny and her dad are both missing. I went to Deputy Mark today around lunchtime, and he's filling out a missing persons report with the FBI. I hope they're okay.
How in the hell did you get around Alex? He's there so much he practically lives there.
Oh, Mark was not the only one there when I went there.
Well, you have good timing. Deputy Mark is the only one in that whole office that I trust.
I hope you're right. Everyone at the sheriff's office is so nice to me. I trust them. Why don't you?
Carly, you trust everyone. I trust my gut. And that's why I don't trust as easily as you do. That's gonna get you in trouble one of these days. You don't think Jenny and her dad could have just gone out to their house in West Virginia?
She never mentioned it. Even if she did have to leave, she would have told me, even if it was last minute. We're always talking on the phone or texting or on Facebook with each other.
Yes, Susie did mention the four of you do those sort of things together. I feel lucky when she'll spend any time with me. I feel like I have to make an appointment.
Oh, we really aren't that bad.
I bet you're happy Susie will be back home tomorrow. I told her about you letting Jenny put her hand on your knee. She says she's got something for you.
Oh, I totally forgot about Jenny doing that at the campfire the other night. You know, the holler has been pretty quiet lately. Wonder if there's any truth to that old soul taker story.
It's only a story. I wish Jenny and Susie were here. I feel so much better.
Well, Lewis, what do we have in the files on this case?
Looks like we have an 18-year-old female and her father. They were both reported missing by her friend. And she was last seen by that same friend on Sunday, which is now about 26 hours ago.
Yes. Director Barnes wants us to get on this case and get it solved as soon as possible.
Understood. And it also says that she is a senior in high school. She's an honor roll student. She's active with the church and volunteers of the Humane Society.
Sounds like an outgoing person. What was the name of the friend that reported her missing?
Miss Carly Monroe was the one who reported her. She's also 18 years old, and they go to school together, and it appears that they're in a lot of the same activities together.
So, we've got an 18-year-old reporting another 18-year-old missing. Well, what else do you have in the file?
Let's see. The deputy was a Martin Moreland, and he took the missing report from the girl. This is strange, though. There's nothing in the file about the father. Just the girl.
Well, you know, that's odd. Director Barnes gave us this case, which refers to one missing person. And he must have given the other case to another team for missing people. What else does it say in the file?
Yes, it also says that the Wells family had just moved to town about 6 months ago. I don't think that's very relevant, though, do you?
You see, most of the details, whether they're small or large, are very important to the investigation. You know, most of my missing people cases, we find them before because we pay exact attention to those small little details. Like I said, whether they're small or they're large, either one.
Now you're starting to sound like Sherlock Holmes.
So, I guess that makes you my Watson. Is there anything else about Raylan in that file?
No, but I can Google it. Give me just a second. Looks like Raylan, Kentucky has a population of about 5,062 as of the last census report. It's located in the Appalachian Mountains and was at one time a mining town until the last mine closed in 1966.
Okay, this is a small town, which means that probably people have to leave here to be able to find work. You know, see, in a town like this, everybody knows everybody. And that might go to us being able to solve this case a lot quicker.
You know, my thoughts exactly. Somebody in this town has to know something. I think Director Barnes was right when he told us that we would need to keep on our toes and watch each other's backs.
GPS says we're about 15 minutes out of town. I guess we need to give Deputy Moreland a call so that way we can get together.
Hello, Deputy Mark Moreland here. How can I be of service?
Deputy Moreland, this is Agent Richards. We're getting real close to Raylan now, so I wanted to see if there's any way that we could get hooked up maybe in the morning.
Yes, Director Barnes called the office today and told us that y'all were going to be in town. I've been here waiting at the hotel for about an hour or so.
Well, okay. Agent Lewis and I we'll be there in just a few minutes.
Okay, I'll see you then. Bye.
What's going on?
Deputy Moreland's already at the hotel. I was hoping we could get hooked up somewhere to get something to eat, but I guess the clock's ticking.
Welcome to Raylan. I'm Deputy Mark Moreland.
Good evening, Deputy Moreland. I am Agent Richards, and this is Agent Lewis from the FBI. We're here to assist you and help whatever way we can.
Greetings, Deputy. We were hoping that we might could get a little bite of something to eat before we get started. It's been a long trip for us.
Hey, that sounds great. We could go over to the lounge, grab a bite to eat. We can discuss a plan of attack and trying to locate the wells. We need to try to do this ASAP. I've never worked with the FBI before.
So, Deputy Moreland, have there been any new developments at all since we were driving in? Anything you're aware of?
No. I gave away one traffic citation. It's been a pretty slow day.
Deputy, any chance for us meeting up with Carly tonight?
No, she's staying in tonight. She's pretty upset about her friend being missing. I can give her a call, see if she can come in maybe in the morning.
Just between us, I think that Deputy Moreland has had enough caffeine for the both of us.
I think he's just excited about working with the FBI.
You're probably right.
Okay, it's set. She's going to come in and meet with us first thing in the morning.
Well, gentlemen, if you all wouldn't mind, I think that I'm going to go on up to the room. Deputy, it was a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
And Matt, I'll see you in a bit.
I'll see you in a bit.
Wow. Whew. If I'd have known that's the kind of partner I'd have had with the FBI, I'd have left this town a long time ago.
Now remember, your dad is in Langley.
I didn't mean any disrespect.
Well, who are you talking to?
Well, there's got to be some kind of closed circuit camera or some kind of feed to the director of the FBI.
No, I haven't seen Jenny, and that's just not like her. I'm meeting with Deputy Mark and the two FBI agents in the morning. I'm getting ready to go feed Lance his supper and give him a real good brushing. So you'll be home tomorrow sometime, right? Don't worry, I won't tell Charlie that you're coming home early tomorrow. Okay, see you later. Bye. Lance, I know something is going on around here, and I know it has to do with the Fifth Holler. Susie will be back tomorrow, and that's a good thing. Charlie isn't expecting Susie home till later on this week. He's going to be really surprised. I really hope Jenny's okay, and her dad are just out somewhere. Lance, you're such a good boy and a great listener. I'm really scaring myself thinking about the stories of the Fifth Holler.